Patenaude, we'll open it right up for questions for Coach Patenaude.
You had Jordan go for over 100 yards again last week, but this week you face a big challenge. Miami has one of the best run defenses in the country. Is that mainly because of the linebacker play, or what do you see up front from them?
Well, the two linebackers are NFL guys. When you look at them on tape, they stand out. They're downhill, they're aggressive, they have great instincts, they've played a lot of football, they can cover up a lot of things. If somebody slides off a block or, there's a gap, they close those gaps quickly. So we do have a challenge ahead of us. And the thing for us is I think we've run the ball really well. Our run numbers are good. Statistically, our run numbers are good. When you break us down week to week, all different schemes, we've been fairly consistent with all the different things that we've been trying to do. Week to week may not be the same plays, may not be the same formations, but in general, we've done a good job being able to run the ball and for the most part, control the line of scrimmage. Really, really good in spurts, other times hit or miss, but I think if you look at our total run numbers and our total run efficiency, which we calculate every week, I'm happy, with where they are. It is going to be a good test, but we have some good players, and, JP makes people miss, and so, we have to continue to feed them the ball.
Next, Kelly.
In terms of the passing game and the development, are you comfortable with are you seeing the progress that you'd like to see week to week in terms of James and his performance and what he's seeing out there?
The progress has been positive, but not where we need to be. We're still extremely inconsistent from a protection standpoint, from a quarterback location standpoint. Our completion percentage needs to be near 60%, I would say. Historically, we're probably 64, 65%. I think that's what we're striving for. Hidden in that a little bit is that we're taking a bunch of shots down the field. So the 50-50 balls are going to decrease your numbers, So maybe, compared to some of the teams that we've been involved with in the past, we've probably taken a lot more shots down the field to try to create some explosive plays. And in doing so, your percentage is going to drop. So, if we could be in the mid-50s, I think that would be a solid percentage for us. But we have to do a better job across the board, route-wise. We've caught the ball well. We had 2 drops on Saturday, which hurt us. But in general, that has not been an issue. James's growth as a quarterback has been tremendous. Anyone who's watched him from the beginning of the year and sees him now and knows anything about football is going to know that his growth has been on a very high climb. But he's still got a long way to go. He's still a young guy. And, in this league, he faces so many different things week to week from a front standpoint, coverages, where to go with the ball. And we're trying to expand our pass game. So when those two forces meet each other, there's a lot of things that he's never seen before, and he's kind of reacting on his own. So it's a go out and execute the game plan type deal. He's done a good job with that, understanding so much more about football and about the pass game and protections and those type of things. The thing that you cannot take away from him is he's extremely athletic. He made a tremendous amount of plays for us on Saturday with his feet, avoiding sacks, getting out of the pocket, dumping the ball. And then there was 2 or 3 times where he progressed to his third read and dropped the ball off. I think we had a 3rd and long. And he dropped one off to Adonica Sanders on like a little shallow route. And we got the first down. That's huge progress for a young quarterback to be able to get to your 3rd read and dump the ball and just be patient in the pocket. And he was getting hit, so for him to stand in there and have the conviction to stand in the pocket, it was really, really good. And, as we've talked about in the past, as a play caller, you have to try to, hide, what you're doing and give them as many different looks so that they can't just tee off on the protection and the quarterback. So we'll continue to do that on 3rd down. Right.
Brown has averaged over 22 yards a catch, nine catches. Is he a guy you want to get more touches because of his big playability?
Yeah, and I think a piece of that can be, how many more times can we get it to him short? And he's a quick little guy, and he can make somebody miss. So you know, part of that process is, can you screen it to him, can you flip it to him, can you hand it to him, can you throw him just a little slant or a rollover, things like that, and let him get a catch and run type deal. So, you know, we've talked about that a lot, and even in the game we had 3 or 4 of those called. We had a few slants called, a few rollovers called, and the ball went to a different direction. But yeah, I mean, you know, when you watch the defenses now, I mean, that the DB looks out there, he sees number 10, and he takes a couple steps back. As you know, a lot of those balls have gone over his head, and that catch that he made on that go ball down the sideline was fantastic. It was, you know, you can't catch it any better than he did on that play. So yeah, I mean, he's a real weapon. I'm really excited that we have him, and that his continued growth. And you know, with a lot of those guys, Tobias also I think is another one of those guys where he has a lot of you know, catch and run ability. So you know, being able to throw some control pass game and get those guys the ball in space, you know, will be something that we look at moving forward.
I'll ask you something else about Amari. Can you describe, just obviously him producing the way he has in his first year is a little unusual. Can you describe the progress you see him make from the time he got here in January until?
So day 1 of spring ball, we went out and we were watching the guys run, and really not knowing much about any of the guys at that point. Had watched, you know, the game film of the guys that had been here and that type of thing. And I turned to Kerry Dixon and I said, that's our starting slot. like within, you know, eight reps. He's sudden, he's smart, because as a slot receiver, you have to be football smart, because a lot of what we do in the pass game are conversion routes. So if they're in this defense, you do this. If they're in this defense, you do this, and the route changes based on the coverage. So he was able to handle that very well. He studied well. He picked up the offense well coming out of the gate. And, you know, he ran a time last Thursday in practice that we've never seen on our catapult system in the 3 years that we were running, you know, which was amazing. And I was like, okay, that just kind of, you know, it's a great comfort level for me to be able to say, you can put that kid one-on-one, and he can make you miss going down the field, because he just has natural ability. He's got a natural feel for how to play. He weaves himself in and out of traffic really well. A couple times on Saturday they grab him, you know, because he's a littler guy, so he's got to learn how to get off of people and keep his hands up, you know, keep their hands off of him. But his development's been fantastic.
Anything else for Coach Patenaude? Okay, last one.
I guess going forward, kind of from here, what you're saying, the development of the pass game is probably like a priority for the next several weeks. I would think is going more like 7-man protections or doing things differently going to be one thing you're looking at as far as how to take the next steps?
Yeah, well, I'm not going to tell you if we're going to go 7-man. Let Miami know, but I mean, if you watch us on film, we are 5-man protection, get the ball out quick. We're 6-man protection, helping. You know, 7-man protection. If you saw us on Saturday, we're in like a double wing set, trying to help the tackles. You know, double chipping, kind of like a pro style. Max protecting, screening, sprinting, quick game, empty. And we have to be able to develop all of that. You know what I mean? We can't, if we just sit in a 7-man protection, and the defense knows that it's a 7-man protection, they'll run a 7-man protection beater. You know, so you have to be multiple. You have to move the pocket, and you have to give them different looks. So even in the course of that game, we did all of those things on 3rd down. And you know, James made a bunch of throws, and he missed a few. I mean, he missed a bias on a wide open post that, you know, is a 75-yard touchdown pass that we have to make. And I think Coach Thacker talked about it earlier. When playmakers are put in a position to make plays, you got to make plays. Like if you're in a one-on-one block, you got to make the block. And if you're in a one-on-one route or a one-on-one throw, playmakers have to make plays. Ultimately, we're going to put them in the best position, teach them the most that we can, make the best call that you can make. And when you're in a one-on-one situation, you have to win. You know, and the elite teams, right, have elite dudes making elite